Hello, everybody. My name is George Packard, and I am the Mosquito Police Millionaire. Today, I want to tell you about how I became a millionaire, some of the drivers, some of the things that I did, and why I did what I did. So, in the very beginning, I had a friend that went into mosquito control, and he was a landscaper at the time, and he went into mosquito control. He bought a franchise, and he told me he loved it. He said it was the best movie ever made. And I was trying to figure out what he was talking about. I kept in touch with him for years. And finally, I was going to buy a franchise, buy into a franchise for mosquito control, but there were none near me that I could buy because all the territories had been bought up. So then I thought, well, what if I started my own? So I had the help of my friend who got me started, and we started our own. We had one piece of crap van we called the Turd. I think it cost $500. It was horrible, but it got us started. And we took that, the money we made from, our initial year in the business, we took it, we reinvested the next year. We got a little better van. It was still a used van, but it was better than the Turd. So we got that van. Then we had two vans out on the road making money. And we took the profits from both of those, and then we kept reinvesting into the company. So what I mean by reinvesting, we continually poured money into marketing, and we poured money into the vehicles, and we also poured money into our office. So we realized early on, we didn't realize that we were going to grow like we have. Okay. We just thought, hey, this would be a good little side business for us, and we'll just stick with that. And before I knew it, it just kept doubling. We just kept doubling in size. It just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And before I knew it, my wife and I couldn't handle all the office details and work in the field at this. So we had to bring on more people, and we had to bring on more office people. We had to build an office, and we got the office built. Within, I think, 2 years, we outgrew that space. We had to build out another office, and we had to add like 6 cubicles for people to take the phone calls besides the main office where the managers are that are operating the operatives in the field, that they're overseeing the operatives in the field. So the business went from that one van up to today we have 14 vehicles on the road. And there was a lot of learning that went on there, and there were a lot of difficulties that went on, and a lot of hiccups along the way, marketing mistakes, mistakes with customers, things that we learned. And you learn every year. You learn a little bit more, a little bit more, and a little bit more, right? But starts with saving the money, then investing the money into yourself. You develop a great team of people around you. And that's very important, because without that team of people, it's going to be very hard for you to grow. And I've had to learn, like when I was a landscaper, I thought I had to be on every single job because they weren't doing it good enough. I had to learn to let go of some of those things, because if you're going to scale a company and make a big company, you can't do it by yourself. And you're only as good as the people that are around you. And I've hired people that didn't turn out really good. I've hired people that are fantastic that are still with me to this day. I've hired people that were fantastic that left us for another job. I mean, these are all things that you deal with as you grow. But the important thing is that you keep growing. For me, my foot is always on the gas. Like, I am always trying to grow this business. I don't stop. I want to keep pushing forward. I mean, I'm 59 years old. I realize I don't have forever to make this money, right? Whatever I make has to last me. I've never had a union job. I'm not relying on some sort of a pension that's going to come in. I rely on me. And I have been the best investment that I could make. And the reason I say that is because I know I will not let this business fail. I don't care what it is. If it was a coffee shop, a vape shop, landscaping, lawn care, it all comes back on me because I'm the owner. And versus like taking your money, putting it in the stock market, you're relying on other people to make that money for you. There's no guarantee that those people are going to make that money for you, right? No guarantee at all. But I trust me. And I know that I'm not going to just let my money go out the door and still sleep good at night. I'll be up at night worrying about my money, worrying about my investments and how they're going to grow. What's wrong in my business? What's right in my business? What are the things I can make better in my business? This stuff goes through my mind all the time. I'll go in the house in the evenings and I'll go to sit down with my wife and eat dinner. And all of a sudden these ideas will start popping into my head. And what do? Go upstairs to my office. I start writing things down again. It's like my brain never stops. It's weird. It's like a bug that you get once you start in your business. If you want more for yourself and better for yourself, you just keep changing things. And every idea you have, you put it down, you try to implement it. And it's not just enough to talk about your idea or think about your idea. You have to implement your idea. So there's a big difference there. A lot of people will learn things about their business that could make them better. They maybe even write it down, but then a month goes by, paper ends up in the garbage. They never did anything. So it's just as important to implement everything you wrote down than to write it down. Writing it down is the first step, right? Do something to help your memory. And I do that, so it helps me keep track. But then I have to implement those things. So that's a big thing early on that I didn't do. I would write down all my ideas on how to grow my business. Of course, I would get a crank call right in the middle of a video, of course. Anyway, apologize for that. Let's see. If I retired today, because of all the investments I've made in the mosquito police business, right now we generate $1 million a year, a little over, okay? I know if I keep my business the same, if I retired today and turned it over to someone else, that company will still continue to produce. As long as I keep an eye on it, I make sure they're doing everything they should be doing. If I was in landscaping and I decided to retire, it kind of stops with you. It's not as easy to replicate as this has been. Landscaping every year, you have to go out and get all your new clients. You don't have to do that every year in this business. You'll get 85, 90% of your clients back year after year after year. And the nice part is it's that residual income that keeps coming in from these people. Every year, I don't have to go out like landscaping. You have to go out and find your new customers every year. If I did $500,000 in sales, next year I got to turn around, I got to find another $500,000 in customers. And you don't have to do that with this business. So I found that to be very interesting. Anyway, my foot's always on the gas, like I said. And that's how I became a Mosquito Police Millionaire, is because I worked very hard at it. And when I say me, it's not just me. It was my wife and the people around me. So it takes a good team. I hope you guys will consider the Mosquito Police Partnership Program. It's a great program. It can make you the next Mosquito Police Millionaire.